This meeting of the Board of Supervisors, Penn Township, reorganizational meeting Monday, January the 5th, 2015, 7 p.m. will now call to order. We'll stand for a pledge of allegiance and a moment of silence. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Please be seated. I think the only thing we could say is executive session. How long was the
Employee evaluations
employee evaluation?
on the 23rd.
Pardon?
On the 23rd.
On the 23rd, yes. Okay. This time I'd like to, before we go through a regular order of business, so Joe doesn't need to sit here till the end of the meeting, I'll recognize him on the Stoner plan, let him bring that forward.
Thank you. At the last meeting, we reviewed the plan. Really any issues we had with the plan was the cross-sectional detail of the shoulders. What I did was took this detail right out of the letter that you had sent to Mr. Stoner and added some special wording up here that basically points to the top surface. It says top surface to be tar chipped with CRS 2PM or RS 2PM using number 8 aggregate at 1% wash per spec, which was right out of the letter that you had sent to Mr. Stoner.
Okay.
So it tells him that what he has to do.
Okay, now, do we have a copy of the plan with this addition in here?
That is it right there.
But,
You can have that.
okay.
Yeah. And I got some half sizes here, but you can have that.
Yeah.
That needs to go to
Helen.
Yeah.
Helen now. Okay. That was the only question I had on Joe, was that,
Yep.
but didn't show up on the other one.
Correct.
And it was in that letter. There was nothing there to tie that down.
Right, and if you look at what you have there,
Yeah.
it was very,
Copies that were on packets.
Pardon?
That detail was.
but if you look at it, it's very unclear on the top
As to
surface.
what it
I
is.
see,
See
I
that
see,
there?
get it, I beg your pardon.
So we-
And I
we've done
called
is
him
we-
today and asked
Okay.
him to insert that note in there as
Makes it
to
more
what was
clear.
in our letters, specified or otherwise
I
with
can
no
have a
guarantee,
copy of that short version.
no
of it.
guarantee you were going to get it.
Yeah.
That way I can attach it to that, that way I know I have it. Thank you, sir.
You want one of the half sizes?
Sure, please,
There you go.
thank you.
Sure.
Before they just said bituminous coverage. Well, yeah, could have been anything.
Leaves it out open, yeah.
You see what I'm
This is
saying?
good. This is good.
And that's in compliance with the letter that we had sent. Okay.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, that was the only thing we changed in the plan from the last time we met, was that detail. There you go.
And you are asking for relief from planting the trees
Yes, sir.
in your
Yeah.
memo.
Okay, yeah, there's nothing says that we
That you have to. The
Yeah.
only reason we have to keep it on there is because the original plan showed them.
showed.
So this plan shows them be removed. Then it would be very clear now what the approval was.
I guess we're at the point finally. What is the wish of the board in granting this revision for Mr. Stoner so that he can move forward with this project?
Right.
I move that we grant the revision, relief from planting the trees and installing the berms as detailed in the plan.
Yeah, the type 3 shoulder.
Right.
The
Type 3
sorry.
shoulder according to the township specs and PennDOT requirements. Okay?
Contingent upon fees.
Contingent upon fees.
I second.
Okay. Motion been made with a second. We accept the revisions to that plan, subject to all fees being paid. And call for the vote. All those in favor give their consent by saying aye.
Aye.
Ayes
Aye.
have it. So ordered.
That included the AOR, right, Brian? Or the street
Trees?
trees? Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, thank you very much.
Okay, Joe?
Yep.
Thanks for doing that.
No problem. Have a good
Okay.
night. Be safe.
Good luck with your angle.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay. Appointment of temporary chairman, temporary secretary. I'll make a motion that we appoint Helen as the temporary chairman.
I second the motion.
Motion made with a second. All those in favor give their consent by saying aye.
Aye.
Ayes have it, so ordered.
Okay. Nomination for temporary secretary?
I move we appoint Libby Goodhart as temporary secretary.
I second.
Motion made with a second. All those in favor give, oh, excuse me, Helen.
Those in
That's
favor
yours.
say aye.
That's yours.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay, and then we need to appoint a chairman.
Okay. Appointment for chairman of the board of supervisors. Okay.
I move we appoint Henry Holman Jr. as chairman of the supervisors.
Okay.
There's a motion, is there a second?
I second.
Okay.
There's a second, all in favor? Say aye.
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 Okay, I'll turn it back over to the chairman.
Okay, that being settled, we have appointments for vice chairman. Okay, do I hear a nomination for vice chairman of the board of supervisors? Once again, I'll make the motion that we continue with where we were, make vice chairman Brian McGuire, offer him, his name is for vice chairman of the board. Do I hear a second?
I second that
Okay,
motion.
motion made with a second. All those in favor give their consent by saying aye.
Aye.
Ayes have it, so ordered. You have before you for the roadmaster for the year. I would say that I would be willing to serve as that duty for the ensuing year, if so appointed.
I make the motion to reappoint Mr. Holman as our roadmaster.
Okay?
I second the motion.
Motion made with a second. All those in favor give their consent by saying aye.
Aye.
Ayes have it. Secretary, make a motion that we reappoint Helen as our secretary for the township for the ensuing year.
Second?
Motion made with a second. All those in favor give their consent by saying aye.
Aye.
Ayes have it, so ordered. Treasurer, do I hear a motion?
Make a motion to appoint Libby as our treasurer.
I second the motion.
Motion made with a second. All those in favor give their consent by saying aye.
Aye.
Ayes have it, so ordered. Police chief,
I make the motion to retain Chief Pickles as our chief of police.
okay. Motion made.
I second the motion.
Motion made with a second. All those in favor give their consent by saying aye.
Aye.
Ayes have it, so ordered. Okay, appointment continues. Okay. We have before us for our township solicitor.
Yeah, Wagner and Spria is asking for their fee to be $175 an hour.
Okay.
I move we appoint Wagner and Spria, the firm of Wagner and Spria, as our township solicitor.
Okay. I'll second. All those in favor give their consent by saying aye.
Aye.
Ayes have it, okay. Township engineer,
They are asking for an increase to $125 per meeting. They haven't had an increase since '09,
okay.
and that's for two.
Do I hear a motion to retain Ritu as our township engineer?
Yes, I'd like to make the motion to retain the two for the agreed upon amount of their fees.
Okay. I'll second. All those in favor give their consent by saying aye. Ayes.
Aye. I'm sorry.
Ayes have it, so ordered.
I abstain because of my employment by Rotu Associates.
Okay. Township Vacancy Board Chairman, Donald Carpenter. I make a motion that we retain Donald Carpenter for the ensuing year.
Okay.
Do I hear a second?
I second.
Motion made with a second. All those in favor give their consent by saying aye.
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 Okay. Township Storage Enforcement Officer, SEO and alternate SEO.
Yeah. Would be,
I move we appoint Madden Engineering as Township Sewage Enforcement Officer and alternate Sewage Enforcement Officer.
Okay, motion made.
I second.
All those in favor give their consent by saying aye.
Aye.
Ayes have it, so ordered. Township Zoning Officer and alternate.
Fees are the same.
Mhm.
Fees are the
Fees are
same.
in that help, okay. Do I hear a motion?
I make the motion to accept Imagine Engineering Services, Inc., with the fees that have been determined in the letter.
Okay. Motion made. I'll second. All those in favor give their consent by saying aye.
Aye.
Ayes have it, so ordered. Okay. Township Uniform Construction Code Inspection Agencies before you. There's been some changes on the prices in there. Those, been some increases.
Yeah, there.
Before you there. On the changes that they made on Sawdust.
Yeah.
I looked at those earlier there today.
The biggest change is for a house.
For a house, yeah.
That it went up 200 for all the inspections.
So it's now from 600 to 800?
Plus,
No.
it's,
No,
it's 600.
Oh, went from 400 to 600?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's for the inspections, and then at the top, I think it went up, I think it's $7 for the,
And the last I
Application.
checked, that's still way less of what the cog charges, way
Yeah.
less.
yeah.
Okay. Do I hear a motion to retain?
I move we retain Benoni Associates as the Township Uniform Construction Code Inspection Agency with the updated fees.
Okay, I'll second. All those in favor give their consent by saying aye.
Aye.
Ayes have it, so ordered. Penn Township Municipal Authority. Okay,
Sam Ox is up for a 5-year term.
I make the motion to retain Sam Ox
As a member.
as a member of the Penn Township Municipal Authority.
okay.
I second the motion.
Motion made with second. All those in favor give their consent by saying aye.
Aye.
Ayes have it, so ordered. Penn Township Planning Commission before you.
Ken Martz is up for reappointment.
Okay,
They have not found, or let me know if they found anyone to be filled the empty spot on the board yet.
okay. Okay. Do I hear a motion to reappoint Mr. Martz?
I make that motion.
Motion been made,
I second.
second. All those in favor give their consent by saying aye.
Aye.
Ayes have it, so ordered. Penn Township Zoning Hearing Board.
It's Mr. Clark.
Yep. Clark. Make a motion to reappoint Dave Clark to the Penn Township Zoning Hearing Board.
I second. Go ahead.
Good, Brian.
I second the motion.
Motion made with second. All those in favor give their consent by saying aye.
Aye.
Ayes have it. So we're right to know officer. Okay, in the past has been Helen Kleinpeter. Do I hear a motion to retain her as a right to know officer?
I make that motion.
Motion made. Do I hear a second? Okay, I'll second. Helen be made the right to know officer. All those in favor give their consent by saying aye.
Aye.
Ayes have it, so ordered. Elected auditor.
Okay,
Before
you have one that has been elected, and this is her second year. So Bob Schaefer and Brad DiPaolo would need to be reappointed, and they're agreeable.
Mm-hmm,
We just have to specify which one they're going for.
okay. Yeah, before you there, Robert Schaefer for a 4-year post and Brad DiPaolo for 6 years. Okay, I'll make a motion that we concur with those 2 years for Robert, the 4 for Robert and 6 for Brad DiPaolo.
I second.
Motion made with a second. All those in favor give their consent by saying aye.
Aye.
Ayes have it, so ordered. Cumberland County, Perry County Task Force Representative and alternate.
With Brian as the delegate and I was the alternate.
Okay? Do I hear a motion to retain those two at the same position?
I make the motion to retain Brian McGuire as the delegate and Helen as the alternate for the Cumberland Perry County Task Force.
Okay, I'll second. All those in favor give their consent by saying aye.
Aye.
Have it. So ordered. Capital Tax Collection Bureau, representative and alternate.
I'm the primary, Susan's the alternate.
I move we retain Helen Klein Peter as representative and Susan Long as alternate to the Capital Tax Collection Bureau.
Okay. I'll second. All those in favor give their consent by saying aye.
Aye.
Ayes have it, so ordered. Perry County Tax Collection Committee, representative and alternate.
I'm
Okay.
the primary, and Brian Peters is the alternate.
Okay, I'll make a motion that we retain those two for that position. Do I hear a second?
I second the motion.
All those in favor give their consent by saying aye.
Aye.
Ayes have it, so ordered. Depositories, huh?
Okay, we have Pliggett and Orstown for checking accounts. We have Riverside, which is Marysville, and Mifflin Town for CDs.
Okay. I make a motion that we continue with the depositories as Pliggett, Norristown Bank, and Marysville, Mifflin Town National Bank for our CDs at the present time.
I second.
Motion made with a second. All those in favor give their consent by saying aye. Ayes have
Aye.
it, so ordered.
Okay, this is what I brought up at the last meeting about the treasurer, secretary and treasurer's bond. Right now, we are covered for $250,000. It's recommended to cover the flow of money coming through. We have $900,000 between CDs and checking accounts that we're responsible for. I'm suggesting increasing the bond. You see the prices for the increase. Truthfully, I'd recommend at least $750.
And right now, you said we have how much?
$250 on each of us.
I mean, as in, how much in,
9,000, I'm sorry, 900,000 with CDs and all the different accounts. That's including Park and Rec, Liquid Fuels, Capital Reserve, Pliggett, Orstown. It's mostly in CDs, but
I make the motion that we increase our bond amount to $750,000 with a premium of $625
each.
each. Wait a minute, each?
Well, I would be 625 and she would be
okay.
625.
I'll second the motion.
Okay. Motion made with a second. All those in favor give their consent by saying aye.
Aye.
Ayes have it, so ordered. Wages and salaries, okay, and hiring, okay? We have it for you. You have the secretary's position there for you. Helen, at the present time, is at $17.05 for 2014. You have our treasurer for 48 hours pay. She's at $12.01. Custodians at $10.73 for 2014. We have our police chief, which was $22.25, and police captain was $21.25. Their wages that they've submitted have been budgeted or amounts that are worked within their budget at the present time. That's what their budget is scheduled for their increase for the present time. The police probation is listed as $14.50 and $18 for their regular. For 2014, highway full-time for Tom was $16.28. Highway full-time for Steve was $13.13. Highway part-time, $12.17 for the part-timers. Mine, the wages that I get for the time that I spend out there is set by the elected auditors. Groundskeeper hourly was $10.72, and that was the rates that were for 2014. And what is the wish of the board as far as granting an increase percentage on the 2, 3, or 4% as presented where you're headed for the concurring year? We have, I've taken a look at these wage and benefit surveys for a township our size. We are neither low, we are neither high. We are just about right down the middle from that. So I think the, we're not out of line.
I move that the wage employees be granted a 2% increase over the 2014 amounts.
Question? Does this include the police numbers, or are you going to take their recommendations? What's been budgeted for the police?
Okay. Those amounts that were budgeted amounts were approved budget amounts for the police in the approved budget held.
Yeah,
Okay? Yes.
but his motion said
Yes,
employees. I'm clarifying.
To exclude the
Okay.
line item for the police department.
Okay.
That's correct.
Okay.
I second.
Okay, motion made with a second. All those in favor give their consent by saying aye.
Aye.
Ayes have it, so ordered.
Okay. Henry, for your position, is there any recommendations to keep it the same, or anything for
I don't
the?
have no recommendations, they can even roll it back. Okay? It would have been 17 for a long time. They
Yeah.
increased it last year to 715, you know.
Yeah.
I'm more than satisfied with where they're at. There's no recommendation by me or I felt needed to
Okay.
increase that. I don't know if that's for the rest of the board also. Okay. We have a hiring issue there that I'd like to bring forward, which is wages, salaries, and hiring. We all know that Neva McGee has
Resigned.
and stepped down as our groundskeeper. In the past, we have pulled from our pool of part-timers that we've had out here that work successfully for us. Ken Mullen has expressed an interest in that and I believe came in to
Yep.
talk to you about it.
Yes, he did.
And I've heard nothing negative from you or Karen
No.
on the work that he done out here before around the flowers and
No,
whatnot.
Karen's in support of
And
him.
he would be interested in that particular job as a groundskeeper out here. Ken's has done all the nasty work out here in the groundskeeping.
Now he wants to ride around on the tractor.
Yeah. So now we'd like to, but he expressed an interest in it. So what is the wish of the board? I'd like to get someone on there so that we know where we're headed for come spring.
April comes fast.
Okay?
I move that Ken Mullen be appointed as the groundskeeper.
I second.
Okay?
Okay.
Motion made with a second. All those in favor give their consent by saying aye.
Aye.
Ayes have it, so ordered. Okay? Business matters on the points of contact.
I gave you a memo where
Okay.
everyone was last year. If you want to change the duties, go ahead.
Okay? In order to move things along, unless there's an objection, I make a motion that the point of contact stay the same for the ensuing year.
I second the motion.
Motion made with a second. All those in favor give their consent by saying aye.
Aye.
Ayes have it, so ordered. Set the mileage rate, Helen, if you take a look at it, the recommendation was up to .57, .5.
That's the federal standard,
And
yeah.
that federal standard at the present time, I don't think we've used that any in the past, but I would make a recommendation or offer a motion that if we're going to do that or it's not there, that we adopt a .55 right in the middle, 55 cents.
I second the motion.
Okay, motion made with a second. All those in favor give their consent to saying aye.
Aye.
Ayes have it, so ordered. Tax levy?
Okay, obviously, we didn't raise taxes, so it's the same as last year. We just have to pass the resolution, so
Okay.
I can get it to county.
Okay. Do I hear a motion to adopt a resolution for our present tax millage of .5644?
I make that motion.
Okay, motion made. I'll second. All those in favor give their consent by saying aye.
Aye.
Ayes have it, so ordered. Okay. We have before you here our fee schedules. We have one here in particular that we need to get, before we get to the rest of those fee schedules going the whole way down through. For the resolution was to take care of the three new ones, would be for the wireless fees that we were to establish once we adopted that in May the 28th. We adopted that wireless ordinance. Those permit fees that they have here, there's three of them that they asked for an escrow, okay? And the escrow account is to put up there to cover our account. If it's not all used up, it gets reimbursed back to the individual upon filing for that permit.
Yes.
And that was for tower base wireless. Of course, a regular cell tower on the base would be a land development plan. The other one would be a non-tower, which would be within the right-of-way, which could be on a building or within, in our right-of-way, on the pole or et cetera. And those three out there, we already had taken care of the connection fee for $125. And then the other one you had was an annual fee for the right-of-way once something's put installed. Now, if you take a look at that, I took a look at what I thought it would cost us for what's out there now, although we can't recover that because we did not have this initiated at the time they done that. They put the wireless cable fee, the wireless fiber optics to the cell tower, which was an upgrade, and they put the boxes along the road. And unfortunately, we're the ones that have to mow around them, trim around them, and work around them, just like anywhere else where they run something down a pole where the brush and stuff grows up around it, we're obligated the township to trim it. I felt that I had offered those fees of $500 each. They can't exceed $1,000. I thought it was reasonable in the middle ground. I offered for, take a look at what we got. If you had, take the road crew out here for the boxes that we got at the present time, which we can't collect for, but you will be able to in the future. The $400 at an annual fee would be for a maintenance for the right-of-way where they work within our right-of-way where they place boxes and et cetera for us to work around them. So I took a look at that, putting a couple guys out there through the period of a year of the grass growing and et cetera to keep it trimmed away. I thought that was, in my opinion, was fair. Now, I don't know what the rest of the board feels about that. And then there was one other one that had to be adopted, and that came back out on the wireless, so everybody knows this. When they run the fiber optics clear from Duncannon, clear out 849 and back in Butcher Shop, and they run the wireless from 11 and 15 clear back Sawmill out across the power lines and up to the cell tower setting on my place. We had adopted a PennDOT form in here, back here, that said we got $20 for every 100 foot. And so we got a $600 fee for going back Sawmill because they opened up and buried in our right-of-way. Everything that was above ground, we got nothing.
Yes.
And we got nothing on the others out there. And taking a look at that to see what we recover, I would like to propose, or I asked Helen to put it in here and taking a look at this. The recommend 50 cents a foot, which would equal $2,640 a mile. And if we were to collected that, we'd have had upwards going on 10 grand for those two places for placing that fiber optics, whether it be overhead on the poles or whether it was underground. And the $2,640 worth of headaches that I had for where they dug up our right-of-ways was, it should have been a couple bucks a foot, but I could live with 50 cents a foot if we got that in the future. That would be hanging on poles as well as buried within the right-of-way. So it is the wish of the board, if they wish to change them at the present time, and want to discuss it, come up with a number that's agreeable to for that, but we need those to be done, to be put in our fee schedule. They were the items that were left out from the adoption of this on May the 28th, at the end of the year. The cable television license, let's not get that confused. That is something different. It was misread, mispresented in the Duncannon record. That was all messed up. That was altogether a different issue that we're talking about in there.
Yeah.
That stayed the same as it has always been.
That
What
was-
is the wish of the board on those particular items so Helen can incorporate them into our fee schedules that have been presented for us for the rest of the year?
Understanding if it's a brand-new cell tower, they have the land development plan and all that too.
They have all that, yes.
This escrow would come in after that's approved and going for permits.
I'll make an attempt at the motion. I'll move that we set the escrow for tower-based wireless at $500. Set the escrow for non-tower-based facilities at $500. And the annual right-of-way fee at $400 annual. Let's see, I'll get the, is there one other?
No.
And on the per foot,
Oh, the 50 cents per
Right
foot.
away.
yeah, for
Yeah.
the right of way.
50 cents per foot for right-of-way.
And the administrative fee there, $50.
Yeah.
Agreed.
It is with
Does
that.
that cover everything?
That
That would
take
cover
care of
all the-
Make that document then complete.
I second.
Okay, motion made with a second. All those in favor give their consent by saying aye.
Aye.
Ayes have it, so ordered. Helen, those can be adopted into it as such.
Yep.
And then we have our regular fee schedule resolution here. For anything else, you have any comments or anything about those fees carry over from the same as last year?
Yes.
Okay?
They are. Yeah, because the water feasibility was already done. It's all the other fees are the same as last year.
They've stayed the same? Okay. Do I hear a motion to adopt the resolution there to carry on our fee schedule for the ensuing year?
I make the motion that we adopt and continue with the fees that have been recommended for the fee schedule resolution.
Okay, motion been made. Do I hear a second?
I second the motion.
Motion made with a second. All those in favor give their consent by saying aye.
Aye.
Ayes have it, so ordered.
Oh, can you get this changed?
Okay,
I will be, yes.
we have the following dates are proposed for the Board of Supervisors on monthly meetings.
The only one not the last Wednesday would be November, and that would be the week before Thanksgiving, like we did this year. Planning Commission, Park and Rec, and the Zoning Hearing Board and UCC would all still meet on their normal days.
Okay, I would ask the rest of the board to take a look at the calendar for Thanksgiving and Christmas, which is usually the interference, and see whether the dates proposed suit or whether they wish to make a change
Yeah.
before we adopt them.
Yeah, December 30th is the last Wednesday of the month. Figure that. No one will be going out partying on the 30th. They'll wait till the 31st.
I move we approve the proposed dates for the Board of Supervisors, Planning Commission, and Park and Recreation Board monthly meetings,
And Zoning Hearing Board and UCC.
and Zoning Hearing Board and UCC.
Okay. I'll second. All those in favor give their consent by saying aye.
Aye.
Ayes have it, so ordered.
Okay, I'll get those advertised.
Tax collector audit. Helen?
Okay, yes, that is not, in the past, you gentlemen have had the elected auditors do this tax collector audit. They go out and pull some bills of the paid and non-paid to make sure everything's kosher.
Okay. Invoice report.
No motions?
Oh, excuse me, excuse me. Tax collector audit? Any comments or anything on it before you hear a motion? The auditors do that.
Mm-hmm,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay, I'll
Okay.
make a motion that we concur.
I second the motion.
Okay, motion made with a second. All those in favor give their consent by saying aye.
Aye.
Ayes have it. So ordered. Okay, invoice report before you. Anything special to offer, Libby? Helen?
No, just got a couple bills here that are for dated December 31st that we have to get paid.
Okay.
Process, Gadoo, Madden, the ones that didn't come in after the last meeting.
Okay.
How much is that? Where's that?
We also transfer some money over to Plug It and also to the capital reserve.
Okay.
Are there any for two, Helen?
Pardon?
Are there any for two?
I don't think so. Double check here. Not this time.
Okay, thank you.
I make the motion that we receive the invoice and expenditure as is.
Okay, motion made. Do I hear a second?
I second the motion.
Motion made with a second. All those in favor give their consent by saying aye.
Aye.
Ayes have it, so ordered. Treasurer's report.
We're doing pretty good this time of year.
Okay? So I hear a motion to accept the treasurer's report. I'll make a motion to accept the treasurer's report subject to audit.
I second.
Motion made with a second. All those in favor give their consent by saying aye. Ayes have it, so ordered. I did spend some time today with Helen, taking a look at where we're at the end of the year. And in lieu of everything, we are really, what I consider good shape for this time of the year. We've got through some tough, difficult times where we had a lot less
Oh,
at the
yeah.
end of the year, with not much change in anything else. It's just that the revenues weren't there.
They weren't there.
And they have increased, and things have come back some.
And if you look on the, when you get a chance, look on the revenues for 2014, you'll find that we really did good on the EIT and LST
Yes,
this year.
that was
That was a really nice surprise.
a nice surprise. So, that came around. Minutes for December the 9th, for the 2014, for the science hearing, December the 9th, 2014, and December the 17th that we've had. Do I hear a motion to approve them collectively?
I make that motion.
Okay, motion made,
I second.
with a second. All those in favor give their consent by saying aye.
Aye.
Ayes have it, so ordered. Okay. At this time, we have recognition of visitors.
Roxanne? Joe's gone. Mr. Fickle? Doris? Stanley? Lee?
Two questions.
Mm-hmm.
First question on fees. You were talking about mowing around the boxes that the cable companies put out along the road, whatever. You mentioned that was an annual fee,
That would be an annual fee, Lee.
so every year they'll pay $400?
If we get in that situation, I wish we had it now, because I got them down there to mow around now where they put two in, and we didn't have the ordinance wasn't adopted, and that would be an annual fee, yes. And that's subject to change up or down if.
Oh, I don't
if-
care what you charge for, how
You know
often you
what I'm
charge. I just, when I heard annual, I was surprised to hear that, because I was thinking one-time fees.
Yeah, and that's something that was in that ordinance, and try to recover some of our losses at the time you spend out there doing it.
Understood. Second question, the engineering fee, he's asking for $125 per meeting
Mhm.
increase. What's he currently getting per meeting? And can we think about maybe having him skip meetings that we don't have anything that we know of for him?
He already does that. If we don't have
He's been
anything,
volunteering to do that.
yeah. I had to get that back to you. I don't know the number off the top of my head. But I think it's something like 110,
Yeah.
but I'll get you that
So they're
later.
doubling what they were, over double. Asking for more, they're asking for twice what they're already getting.
No,
No,
no, 110 I believe is what it was, but I'll have to get you the final
Well,
number.
they're asking to go to 125.
Yes.
It's not an additional
No,
125.
No.
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 Oh.
Increase two.
Oh,
no,
I thought that was a pile of money.
no.
Thank you.
And Jody?
Get
Okay,
some cook lunch, get some fudge, you'll be fine.
Lynn? You have anything
Well, the only thing I talked to you
about the house that's?
about that
Okay.
house, you know, trying to get that cleaned up. It's been going on for years, 3 years.
That's 1129 State Road he's talking about. He's gonna put a complaint in. That's all I have. I don't see any-
Okay. We have before us an old business, PSAP's convention, Helen?
Yep, I need to know who wants to go. I do.
Okay.
Anyone else?
Do you have the fees and everything?
Oh. Here. Government trustees, oh, PSATs, come here, you. There we go. They are starting online registration, and if you do that, it's a little cheaper than, come on, where are you? I don't have it here. Let's make it easier for myself. My hands will work. Oh, registration. If you register online, it's $150 per person. If you register normal mail or fax, it's $175. And if you want to guest, that's $85 for that person.
Now, Libby, you attended last year, or,
I was sick.
oh, you were
She
sick.
became
Okay.
sick, yeah.
So, okay. I really enjoyed the information that came out, considering it was my first year in as supervisor. I gained a lot of knowledge, a lot of information, and resources there. I really think one of the three supervisors, you know, whoever it may be, if not all three of us or one of us, represent our township there, because there is voting and things like that that we take part in. And so there is actually a time of deliberation where we actually discuss and be able to give your input about certain things that are making changes or what they want to see changed and stuff like that. So if the other two supervisors are not interested, I would be interested in attending again this year.
Okay.
Okay,
We have a volunteer to go to the PSAP's convention.
okay. You want to be the delegate to vote?
I-
I've done it before too, so.
It doesn't matter, because you're still planning on attending,
Yeah.
right? Correct. So, I'll let you have the fun this year, but I'll be there.
That's fine. You actually get to see democracy in action.
Yes.
I'm also gonna ask to go to a workshop on Sunday. It's for the best practices for effective code enforcement operations. It's an additional $125 fee. And I have to start getting my credits lined up for
I can't imagine mine. had-
No, that's
yeah.
him.
Yeah, I know. I need to shut this thing off before it does yell.
So I'd appreciate if you gentlemen would let me go to that.
Okay. Yeah, a couple volunteers here. I'll
Well,
make a
no,
motion.
the one for Sunday is $125
Additional.
additional.
Yeah, you
Okay.
want, you want to go?
Yes.
Okay. Make a motion that we grant the PSAPS convention for Brian and Helen and for her to attend the
Training
training.
on Sunday.
Okay? Do I hear a second?
I second the motion.
Okay, motion made with a second. All those in favor give their consent by saying aye.
Aye.
Ayes have it, so ordered.
Okay.
Okay, you have before you your PSAP dues.
Okay, I crossed off new law services, because all they do is ship you the copy of the laws, and the Township News Archive, which is nothing but a CD. And you can get that on the website too. My question is for TEMA, it's $125, it's for the Emergency Management Coordinator, if he wishes to be in that membership. Paul Soltis did before, we don't know if you want to or not.
Yeah, get all the information for these guys, right?
Yeah, training, seminars, anything.
Okay?
I would also add Henry. I don't know why they don't have you on getting a new subscription for the Township News, so I would add $36 for that, which comes out to, what is
I
it, Brian?
surely get it.
I know you do, that's
Yep,
why.
it comes.
Yeah, but they have me and
Okay,
Brian on, and you don't want it.
Right.
Okay,
okay.
so,
So if my math's correct, if you delete the new law service, the Pennsylvania Township News Archive, and add one subscription, it comes out to $11.93.
okay.
Okay, do I hear a motion to retain those items of membership in PSAPs for the amount of money that Brian just said there?
$11.93. I make that motion.
$11.93, okay. Motion made, I'll second. All those in favor give their consent by saying aye.
Aye.
Ayes have it, so ordered. Okay, you have a CDL program there.
Okay, this is our membership fee. They went up $40 from 60 to 100. When or if we get someone called up to do testing, that costs us $60 for each test. But this is our membership fee, so we're in that big old PSATS group. And they pay most of the money for the testing. Just need to know if you wish to stay with it.
And we've been getting a couple year calls, so it's,
Yeah.
okay.
They like Tom.
They
like Tom.
They pick on Tom, yeah, they sure do.
I would like to make the motion for the PSTATS Association that we continue with the CDL program membership with a fee of $100.
I second the motion.
I'll second the motion. Motion's been second. All those in favor give their consent by saying aye. Ayes have it, so ordered. Okay, Perry County Convention.
Yes, this is on February 28th up at Greenwood Elementary. Barbara would like to go to it, Barbara Hamilton. We've paid for her in the past. I'd like to go.
Okay,
I'd also like to attend.
okay. Brian?
I'd also like to attend, since last year I was in PSAT training and I was not able to attend.
Okay.
Okay.
And Helen, I would like to go this year myself. Okay.
Okay. Okay.
I'd like to make a motion then that all three supervisors, Helen, Libby, and Barb Hamilton, attend the Perry County Association of Township Officials with all fees paid.
Okay.
Okay.
I second the motion.
Motion made with second. All those in favor give their consent by saying aye.
Aye.
Ayes have it, so ordered.
Oh, let me see here.
$15 per person.
Is it 15? That includes lunch, right?
Yes.
Yep.
And
And
breakfast.
breakfast.
Quick question, what's the CDL program?
Drug testing.
Drug testing,
Yeah, drug testing.
drug and alcohol sometimes. Sometimes you'll get called up for one or the other.
For commercial driver's license.
I don't know if we were teaching people to drive.
No. It wouldn't be that cheap.
Duncan
Fireplace.
Fire police has carried on the,
They have not asked for any donations this year, but we keep them on in case you
Okay.
gentlemen want to.
and there was no donation made last year.
No, they did not ask last year either.
What is the wish of the board?
I would like to make a motion that, that at this point here, we do not have a request from the fire police, from Duncannon, but if a situation would arise, that the supervisor would address it at that time.
Yeah, yeah, we have a
Okay. Motion made, I'll second. All those in favor give their consent by saying aye. Ayes
Aye.
have it, so ordered. Duncannon EMS donation,
we put 15,000 in the budget.
okay? Make a motion that we continue with that donation.
I second that.
Okay, motion made with a second. All those in favor, give their consent by saying aye.
Aye.
Ayes have it.
Aye.
Okay, fire company donation.
Uh, We have 65,000 in the budget.
Mhm.
Last year, we also gave them fuel.
450 gallon,
And in the back of your packets is their annual report they gave in today.
okay?
And an email for that fire, is it emergency fire, what it's called? For the Duncannon Fire Protection Committee, which will be on the 27th of January at 7, for whoever wants to go.
Okay.
Get them all done at once.
And what was the name of that?
They called it the Duncannon Fire Protection Committee.
Do we have a copy of that?
It should be in the back of your folder. It was with the new packet that was sitting on top, Brian, when you came in. If you don't, I have one.
No, I did not have one.
Okay. And we are still on the fire company donation.
Okay,
With my suggestion here, with recent information that was given to us by the fire department explaining their debt and their expenses and everything, which we were really close to $1 million in debt. I would like to make recommendation with the 65,000 that that money be applied towards their debt.
All
All
65,000?
65,000 be applied towards their debt.
Okay, before, we put some of that towards the capital reserve. The 25,000,
25.
Yeah.
They-
But the
they-
thing about it is, we have to hold them accountable, because here they are, almost $1 million in debt. They have this committee to try to figure out what they're going to do with their debt and future expansion of their fire department. They need some accountability. I really think that we need to, if we're going to give them the $65,000, it should be applied towards their debt until they can get their expenses under control.
Okay. Maybe unbeknownst, Brian, in the past, they were making their mortgage payments out there with the other 30-some thousand that they were getting out of Penn Township. Now, that is the way they had set it up. Well, they're still continuing, but that was the amount of money that they were using to pay on their principal of the loan that they had out there. Now, I don't know whether you want to question that or whether you want to change that. If you're going to, and then I need to make sure that we can actually tie that, even the capital reserve that we had, we couldn't put it in a separate account, that had to be, remember when we tried to do that?
yep, they didn't allow us.
Huh?
The code didn't allow it.
The code didn't allow it.
So
So,
I just know recent townships have done the same thing, requesting that their donation be paid towards their debt.
Well, it's one thing to request it, the other thing is to demand it.
Okay, well, I'd like to see us request from them that they apply it towards their debt. they're $800 and some $1,000 in debt, and we need our fire department. And what are they going to do if they get too far out of debt if we don't start putting restraints on them? What's gonna end up happening is that the townships and the boroughs around are gonna have to end up going to the taxpayers and paying their debt. There has to be some fiscal restraint, and I've not seen it in any of their reports. Even in the mailer they put out, they have not shown any fiscal restraints. To get $800,000 in a small fire department, I know equipment's expensive, I know training's expensive, but I see them eating away at more and more. They're not eating away at their debt, they're growing their debt, and the revenue is not there to pay it. So I'm just asking for fiscal restraint and responsibility on our township part, that we make it very clear that we would like this money to be applied towards their debt, to bring their debt down. Because if not, they're gonna be visiting us in a year or two, asking the taxpayers to pay their debt. And if we don't start making all of our entities that serve our township, making them all responsible, every one of them, we show fiscal restraint here in the township with our budget and towards the taxpayers. And I know we need our services, they're valuable to us.
Okay.
But what happens in a year or two from now when the fire department comes to us and says, we can't pay it anymore, we're coming to you as a township and asking to initiate a fire tax or increase a fire tax or whatever to be able to bring them out of debt or going belly up. And right now, we only have one fire department in our township that can service us. So I'm just asking for, that we recommend to them or request of them to apply this towards debt for fiscal responsibility.
Okay, and I have nothing wrong with that. I will say one thing. If you go back and take a look at the fiscal restraint that has been put upon them, has been no donations to them beyond where we're at year after year, other than giving them some fuel price.
Correct.
And so, I mean, that, they have that to work with.
And I believe in our fire department, I believe in what they do. I mean, I come from a long line of firefighters. The only thing I'm asking is that I keep seeing the debt increasing and the spending increasing, but I don't see any restraint coming from that. So, I mean, what are we gonna do as supervisors in a year or two from now when they're coming to us and asking us for a 2% or a 2 mil or a 1 mil? Or, I mean, we're looking at a lot of money that we're gonna be burdening on our taxpayers. And, your history, Henry, and I applaud you, your history has been fiscal restraint.
Yep.
As a township supervisor. And therefore, how can we sit here and say that we have fiscal restraint, but yet we let our services, because, it's just like politicians, they can just keep dipping into our pockets and dipping into our pockets and dipping into our pockets. I make it very clear, I'm not against the fire department. What I'm very clear about is fiscal restraint. The same restraint that we saw here and apply here in our township, it's the same fiscal restraints we should see from our services.
Okay. And I'm gonna one more time say, they have not made a request for how many years now? Because they know the fiscal restraint is here at the present time. As to whether we can legally take this and say that they have to use this, it's a great idea to lessen their debt.
It's our donation to them.
Okay, yeah.
So it's our donation to them, so I don't know why we can't designate where that money is supposed to go. I don't know why we can't, so my suggestion is that we table this to the next meeting then, and we find out what the law says about whether or not we can designate this money and tell them what to do with it.
Okay. Okay, I can go along with that. At the same time, I'd still like to address the amount of money for this year. Okay?
Okay.
Okay. I'd like to continue the donation as where it stands, what we done last year. I've taken a look at it, and I feel it's a benefit to them. We had donated 450 gallon of fuel to them last year, which they've got a 28 gallon carryover from last year. That benefits them for the price of fuel we get, and they get a bigger bang for their buck if you're going to give them anything. I would like to increase that amount of fuel, that their allotment from 450 to 600 gallon. That's a very, very small increase on fuel or expense out of this township. And they've been, when they, sometimes when they come back and we're involved, if they're out on a run or they come back, they top the trucks off. Basically, they buy an awful lot of other fuel. That was the motion that I would like to put on the floor. And I also, in that motion, agree with this gentleman here that we, before there's anything issued, we need to find out the legality of what we can ask and request for them. And there should be a meeting, sit down and talk to them about it.
Yes, absolutely.
I have no problem with that at all. But I'm not in favor of increasing any more than the donation that we're given at the present time, with the exception of that little bit of fuel. Okay?
So I'm not clear on the motion. I know the motion is about the $600
Okay.
in fuel. What's the remainder of the motion?
Okay, and let's make the motion and a second on that, and then we'll follow up with what Brian said. How's that?
Well,
Make
we
it two
can-
different issues.
Well, we can make the motion to go ahead and set the $65,000. Okay, and then the part B of the motion would be that designation of the money of where it's to be designated by the township upon checking legality,
That part of it. Then.
okay? And then also part C of it then would be that we increase the fuel from 400 gallons to 600 gallons.
Okay?
That would be the motion.
I have no problem with that.
And having a meeting with the fire company.
Part D and meeting with the fire department.
Motion made with a second. I'll second. All those in favor give their consent by saying aye.
Aye.
Ayes have it. So ordered.
Are you gonna amend your budget to reflect that?
Pardon?
Are you gonna amend your budget to reflect that?
To reflect what, Jody?
You allotted $1,450 for fuel. If you're doing 600 at $3 a gallon, you're over 1,800, so you've exceeded your budget already.
3.20 is what we pay for a diesel.
Yeah.
3.20 times 600 is 1,800 and something, and you've budgeted 1,450.
We have a line item for fire company fuel in the budget.
Yes. And that's
That's-
what it was last year.
That's the approved budget for 2000.
We have a
Yeah.
number in there too.
Well, okay. Then okay. I'm glad you brought that to our attention. I'd take it to the,
While you're looking at your budget with your fees and your memberships, tonight you approved $1,808 of your 2,000 that you have budgeted.
For
Just
the,
a couple conferences.
that's normally the major portion of that budget.
Okay, I just know you said you
Oh, yeah.
needed to get
Well, that's
CEs
training.
and things, right.
Yeah,
That
that
doesn't come out of the same,
that doesn't come out of the dues and membership. That'll come out of the training one.
okay.
Yeah.
Henry,
yes.
here, a couple meetings ago, I asked you relative to their escrow account, when you cut the $25,000 check
Yep.
for last year, that made $125,000, and you were gonna check in to see how that was spent. After that meeting, Mr. Warner, at that same meeting, Mr. Warner told me that $50,000 was spent out of that $125,000, so is that gonna go towards their, like Brian's saying, towards their, debt reduction, or?
Well, this is what you're going to take a look at. If you're going to do that, the 25,000 that we said go capital reserve to them is that they're putting out there for the purchase of equipment. You know what I'm saying, is going to be part of that. So you're going to take that, if you decide to make them apply that to debt reduction, and you can legally do that, they lose 25,000 to purchase equipment with.
But I was wondering, because it was,
That, you're gonna have to change that. That's part of what I'm taking a look at.
yeah, because at the time, then what Warner had told me, you still had a balance of 75,000, and the way it was working out that time.
If you're going to do that and you wanna apply the whole 65, that's some of the things that we talked about. There's 25 of that now that's been guaranteed to them for equipment
Their
purchase.
escrow account, yeah.
And that's, yeah, for an escrow account. That's what I'm saying. Those items are gonna have to be looked at, talked about, sit down, and if you're gonna change it, and gotta make sure that nobody gets hung up on something different.
Well, they have another vehicle in the works, so just FYI, they did allocate another radio through the survey with the county for the grant, that they wanna get a second chief.
So there's other equipment in the works, like radios or hoses?
They allocated a radio set aside in the survey that they had to fill out for a grant for the county, that they're looking at purchasing a second chief's vehicle.
Yeah, that's what I was wondering about is where the.
That's why we questioned it. And then Helen, just one other thing back, when you mentioned the association, the dues and memberships, that line item category says association dues and workshops.
Okay.
So that's why
Yeah.
I was I thought that all came out of that category.
Yes, it does.
Okay.
You're right.
So that may hurt you on your CEUs.
I get as many webinars for $10 as I can.
Okay, back to the amount of what they got, Helen. I'll rescind that motion in regard to the gallonage on there.
Okay,
That the amount of fuel that they get does not exceed is what's been appropriated for their fuel for this year's budget.
okay,
Okay, and that would be an increase over last year. We'll have to take a look.
okay. We'll get those numbers for you.
Is that a motion?
Yep, I'll make that in form of motion.
Or second motion?
Okay. Motion made with a second. All those in favor give their consent by saying aye.
Aye.
Ayes have it, so ordered.
Ellen, what did you say you were paying for fuel?
For diesel fuel, we're paying 3.20.
I paid less than that.
We went through CoStar's, the CPAC. We go through CPAC and get it bulk with us and other municipalities.
That was last year when it was up. Now that contract runs out, Helen, and
In June, and they're going through now to find out the next
they're going
price.
through now, rolling this thing back, taking a look at it to get it, they're gonna notify us that when they figure they give us the lowest price.
Yeah. They're going in early to get a lower
They're
price.
going in early, since it's down at the present time, Lee. So CoStars are working on doing that at the present time, yes. So we're trying to get that low number. And you get locked into that for the rest of the year.
And sometimes you get bit, sometimes you
Yeah,
don't.
sometimes you get bit, sometimes you don't. Yes.
Anybody have an idea or knowledge of what Duncannon gives to the fire company?
I don't.
No, I don't.
Just curious.
It's in one of the articles in the newsletter. We're the highest contributor.
Okay. Humane Society.
Okay, we did good.
Okay.
We've only spent $788.40 with both police side and the resident side, and 3 vouchers for last year.
Okay.
And because we're so good, they're only asking for the contract fee of $250 this year.
Okay.
And what all does this cover, Helen?
Dogs and cats being taken into the Humane Society by residents coming in, the police, and the dog warden. We have to pay for him if he picks it up in our township.
But no feral cat.
The feral, yeah.
Yeah, they fix them and release
Yeah,
them.
the catch, fix, and release.
Mhm.
And that fee to do that isn't out of this, to fix them and to release them.
No, that, we have in the budget 3,000 for both sides.
Okay.
1,500 each is normally how we divide it up. But considering how much it's gone down since we first started this program with the Humane Society, we're doing real good.
Yeah. That was up in the thousands. at
Oh,
one
yeah.
time.
Yeah.
Do I hear a motion to continue with Humane Society? I mean, it's a service that's out there that when you don't have it, you gotta pay.
Yeah.
I make the motion to accept the Humane Society
It's 250 now.
contract fee of $250.
Mhm.
Okay. I'll second. All those in favor give their consent by saying aye.
Aye.
Ayes have it, so ordered. Perry County Local Planning Program, they
This is,
have, once again, there, go ahead, Helen,
we tried it about 4 or 5 years ago.
longer than that.
No, maybe, it's been a while.
Okay.
We did the part-time and we never used them.
Okay, it never got used, we haven't participated in it since.
No, we have, with our own planning commission in place, they don't draw up anything. And they already review plan development plans. They review any ordinances we want to pass for zoning and comp plan and all that.
And what you would be paying for would be if a plan goes back a second time around,
Basically.
basically, yes. So we haven't participated, I mean, they take a look at them up front originally. Okay? I make a motion, Helen, that we continue on the same as we did last year and not participate in that.
Okay.
Do I hear a second?
I say,
Motion made with a second. All those in favor give their consent by saying aye.
Aye.
Ayes have it, so ordered. Okay, ordinances, township health insurance, township pension trust, unemployment compensation
Yes.
is all before you there for adoption resolution.
Yeah, these were ones that you gentlemen said you wanted to see in January. I'm only asking for advertisement.
That's correct.
These are basically saying we're going to stay with PSATs and we agree with their policies.
Make a motion to give Helen the opportunity to advertise those particular ordinances.
I second.
Motion made with a second. All those in favor give their consent by saying aye.
Aye.
Ayes have it, so ordered. Charles Stoner plan has been taken care of. New business is the newsletter.
I would like articles by the 13th of February so we can get them out by March 1st.
Okay. New Bloomfield Library donation request, Helen?
Yep, they are asking for a donation from the township. I don't know how many of our residents go up there, but this is the first time, no, I think it's the second time they asked. We've not donated yet.
Okay. What is the wish of the board? Whether you contribute or not. In the past, we haven't.
We do have a non-government donation line item. I think there's $100 in it.
I move we
Go
pay,
ahead.
no.
Go ahead.
I move we pass on the opportunity to donate.
Okay.
I second.
Motion made with a second. All those in favor give their consent by saying aye.
Aye.
Ayes have it, so ordered.
And the only other thing is I already told you about the fire companies giving their annual report and the committee, if anyone wants to go to it.
Okay. I would like to, I haven't seen it myself,
It should be in
but
there.
on the Saturday after Christmas, Mark Keller did, as he promised, went down to the Ellenbergers, met with their entire family. He was home together over the Christmas holiday. They had a photo op down there somewhere. They put it on, I guess, his Facebook or web or whatever it is. I thanked him for that, and Louise surely deserved the recognition that she got from that for restoring that barn down there. If you would care to see it, get down, stop in and take a look at it, walk around and take a look at the job the guy done in the restoration of that barn. Got fruitful. I believe that maybe there's a possibility of the one that's standing in the cove yet, that the stone ends on it. I think the last one I know of around, those people are now considering on restoring that barn by the same individual. It would be something priceless, by golly, to see the end wall from the round up clear on up to the gable ends on that stone wall, to see that building be lost. So that was, she had an awful lot of comments about it, and I was there briefly to show Mark where the place was, and he spent some time there with them. And I thank him and the Ellenbergers for what they done for that historical building. 1881 it was built. And she gave a little history. She wanted a new home, and et cetera. We're gonna move to a new home, and Deets went somewhere and come back and said, I bought the farm. put $10 down on it. So, it was a pretty good story to hear how they happened to come across to get that property down there over the year. That being said, I make a motion, we adjourn.
I second.
Motion made with a second. All those in favor give their consent by saying aye. Aye. Ayes have it. Wonderful. Meeting adjourned.
Kevin, what was the